So in class, we've been talking about finding the x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and vertex of a quadratic function. So for this video, we're going to focus on finding the x-intercepts, but we're going to focus on problems that can't be factored. So I want you to look at the problem we've got on the screen. Y equals x squared plus 3x plus 1. If you try to factor this, you try to find two numbers that multiply to give you 1 and add to give you 3. Well, we can't find those numbers, so this is an equation that is unfactorable. So what if it's unfactorable? Well, we have a solution for that. It's called the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a formula that can be used to solve any quadratic equation that you could think of for x. Okay, so it lets you find the x-intercepts of any quadratic equation. So, we have the quadratic formula as x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so this is the quadratic formula. You'll notice that it's a whole lot of a's and b's, and you should know at this point where all of those a's and b's come from. All right? Our a is the coefficient of the x squared. Our b is the coefficient of the x. And c is the constant term at the end. So, what we do to solve this equation is we plug in the b, the c, and the a everywhere that it calls for. So to solve for x, we have the opposite of b, which is 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's 3 squared, I'm going to put it in parentheses, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1, all over 2a, which is 1. So now we calculate what's underneath the square root, get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared is 9 minus 4 is 5 over 2. Alright, now you know that in most cases we're going to have two x-intercepts. Well, we have two x-intercepts right here. And the reason we have two x-intercepts right here is this plus or minus. We break this up to be x equals negative 3 plus square root 5 over 2 and negative 3 minus square root 5 over 2. So now we have these two answers for what x is equal to. Now, that's not really something we can plot on a graph, so if you needed to, you could use the calculator and do negative 3 plus the square root of 5, and then divide that by 2. So when I do that in my calculator, I get negative 0.4, and then when I do the other one, that's negative 3 minus the square root of 5 divided by 2, I get negative 2.6. So our two x-intercepts would be negative 0.40 and negative 2.60. So that's how you use the quadratic formula to solve for x and to find your x-intercepts. So go complete the questions that go along with the video and make sure you submit them.